In my last video on Black Widow, I told you Champions was going to have buckets of cringe. And I promise you, cringe, you get cringe. Cringe! Buckets of cringe! Huge amounts of cringe! Cringe! Cringe. So before we get started, if you know nothing about the Champions, let me get you caught up on them. They're horrible. They are horrible, typically written as extreme, just SJW trash, and this is just a group of people that have pretty much have all had their own books canceled and or rebooted about 65 times, and they just threw them together as a horrible team. You won't see Miles Morales in this. He's got better things to do because he's actually a decent character. And you won't see they call him the Hulk, but it's Gogurt Hulk. He's the Cho, who is posing as the Hulk. I think they finally renamed him Brawn when the Immortal Hulk came back. But we'll get into this, and this is trash comics at its finest. Get ready. So we start the comic out with Nova, but not that Nova. This isn't Richard Rider Nova. This is Sam Alexander Nova, who's a 15-year-old kid who lives with his mom and just puts on the helmet and becomes Nova. Well, he does that. He gets man, I'm stumbling all over myself here because I'm so excited to get to the cringe. But, okay, let me slow down. He puts on the helmet. He gets a call, basically, from somebody in the Nova Corps saying that they're under attack by Warbringer. He has a past with Warbringer. He had his tail handed to him at one point. Well, his mom hears him in there throwing a fit after midnight. So, no, 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 no! And his mom comes in. Now, you got to take note of how in the first panel she is dressed. She walks in a button-up shirt and pants, right? And has a conversation, and hey, her super son is going to go into space because you're getting Mom of the Year there, hero. And by the time he gets out the door, she is in a bathrobe. So did she, as soon as she found out the son is leaving for space, call her boyfriend over or something? What's the deal here? It's like, hey, my kid's going into outer space to do whatever, and there's going to be trouble because of a distress call, and actual grown-ups in outer space can't handle it, but Mom's going to take time to turn into something a little bit more comfortable. I mean, come on, give me a break. First of all, come on, Mom. Your 15-year-old kid doesn't get to go into outer space and be a superhero. Anyways, Super Sam here is on his way out, and he's got to call Viv, which, if you don't know who Viv is, you're not missing anything. It's Vision's kid, and they have a conversation, and then all the you get into some LOL, so random stuff, and we're playing video games because that's what kids do is they play the video games late at night, and they end up saying, if you're not going to space without us, buddy, and so they all meet up, and then we get, is this Nova, Giant Nova? I mean, this is horrible art here. It looks ridiculous. I mean, there's no indication that he's moving at all. It just looks like he's... Am I supposed to put on 3D glasses here or something? This looks like trash. This is not a good job by the artist depicting him coming flying in. And the depth here is just... It doesn't work. I don't know, perspective's off. I'm not an artist, but I can tell you that stinks. Take note of this picture of Nova lifting the bunker and flying with it, with the heat coming off the sides of it, because you'll see it again, because the artist uses copy and paste. It's pretty awesome. But that kind of goes back to the poor art earlier. It's like this whole thing was rushed. It looks sad. It's poor work. So they get the bright idea that they're going to take a bunker and he's going to fly him in space with it because, we're a team in squad goals or something. I don't know. And They fly into space, and they run into this planet where the distress call was from, and everybody's wiped out. So they go down to start investigating, and they get spotted by some Ultron spiders, basically just verifying who they are. And then Nova gets a call and basically saying, hey, these folks have been wiped out here, and that's that. And here's your copy and paste shot from earlier that I mentioned. That's the same ship, the same frame, and they just put a little different inset underneath it to, save time and whatnot. So Sam gets that call from Nova, blows it off, tells him, hey, yeah, I ain't doing that. And then they go to take off again, and they run into Warbringer. And Nova loses his mind, tosses just his buddies in a spaceship. Looks like they're flying pretty close to an asteroid belt there around one of the planets. And he's just like, yeah, you guys go do something. I'm going to drop you off here because I got to go try to fight Warbringer. He does that and gets, absolutely just rocked and thrown down to the planet. And apparently this thing, which was labeled a bunker earlier, can fly now. I guess. It doesn't say if somebody's flying this thing, if it's just fallen from the sky, just now it can fly. It's a mobile bunker, but like I said, I guess it flies too. So I mean, it's mobile. Who knows? I don't care. It's trash. So then we get down here with the Chitauri. They're all kneeling, and you know who they're kneeling before. It's the guy who sits in big chairs, Thanos. I'm going to go ahead and throw it out that the lazy drawing continues on Thanos as well, because that's the laziest Thanos I've ever seen. And basically, these guys refuse to fight unless their king tells them to. Warbringer shows up, and he's like, you think you can destroy... Thanos is like, hey, you think you can destroy me? And Warbringer's like, no, I'm not stupid. I'm not crazy. To fight you is to die in an instant. And he's like, okay, yeah, you got that right. What's next? And he said, I'm just here to kill all these Chitauri dudes and just wipe them out of history for, disgracing the Chitauri name. And Thanos kind of, rolls over and says, okay, go for it. And Warbringer laughs, and he goes to work and starts, wiping out the Chitauri, which are historically not good dudes. They're kind of like some of those guys that might just, would the universe really miss them? You know what I mean? Oh, no. Go back to the cover of this book. That's the champions defending the moral high ground. And they're going to do that here because it's not a fair fight. So they got to jump in. And when they do that, mind you, this is the army that Thanos would use to invade whatever planet he wanted to invade, wipe out whatever population he wanted to wipe out. They're going to save it. And they charge into battle to, quote, because it's time to save the bad guys. That's right, folks. Time to save the bad guys. This comic book was absolute garbage. But I will tell you, Infinity Countdown Champions number 2 is so much better. It's so much better for one reason, and that's going to be the cliffhanger here. Check out Infinity Countdown Champions number 2. I'll have it out this weekend, guys. Hey, if you haven't yet, hit subscribe. Leave a comment below. Give me a thumbs up. Pound that subscribe button. Pound that thumbs up button like the Hulk. And guys, have a good weekend. And Cringe, man. I love the Cringe. Real Comic Stacks. Out!